Familiar, you're familiar. So if you don't know by now, then you should probably get familiar.
Hello students, I think this is the video part 6, isn't it? So in DC circuit analysis, it is the video number part 6. Okay, in this video I am going to discuss the just introduction about network theorems. Okay, so in the chapter DC circuit analysis, network theorems is very important for you. Okay, so there are 5 to 6 theorems we have to discuss one by one. So before that, so what kind of networks you will come across, what do you mean by network, what are the different types of networks. Okay, so that kind of introduction, so just to go through this video. Okay, now first of all, so what do you mean by network? The question is, what is a network? Okay, you heard about a circuit. So what do you mean by a circuit? Circuit is nothing but consisting of the various elements. Okay, various elements in the sense already we have discussed. You'll come across the elements such as resistors, capacitors, and voltage source or current source in that circuit. Okay, all these are connected either in series or parallel, etc. Okay, so that circuit itself we can consider it as a network. Clear? So it may be connected in any manner, okay, to perform any particular task or any application. It may be an electronic application or any electrical application also. So in order to perform such applications, so we need to connect so many electrical or electronic elements in a network. Okay, so that combination are all put together and connected to each other, set of connections of various elements also we can say, that is called network or a circuit. Okay, so we can define like this: network is a combination of various components, okay, such as resistors, right? Basically resistors will come across, and then capacitors and inductors, current sources, right, or voltage sources, etc. So these are the basic elements you will come across. So interconnected in all sorts of manner. It may be connected in any manner. Okay, such a combination of all these elements connected in a particular manner is called network. Okay, so now, so this network can be considered depending upon the behavior also. Behavior of the network, we can have two types of networks. Either it can be a linear network or a bilateral network. You can just note down this. Okay, so what do you mean by linear network then? Okay, very simple it is. You say, if the characteristics of the network, okay, that means whatever the network elements are there in the circuit, so the characteristics of the network elements, particularly the resistors you have to look at. Okay, resistors are independent of the current through them and voltage across them. So how do you measure the current in a circuit? The current passing through the resistors, through, you have to say the current passing through the resistors, and if you measure the voltage is measured across the resistor, isn't it? So it is like a parallel connection across the resistor by connecting a voltmeter, right? So whenever you measure the current through and voltage across the resistor, so that values should be independent. Okay, the measured values of current and voltage should be independent of the elements, the circuit elements like resistors particularly. Then that network is said to be linear. It is behaving linear manner. Okay, linear network. Clear? We follow once again. If the characteristics of the entire network, okay, network elements are independent of current through them and voltage across them, is called the linear network. Clear? And then what is bilateral network? If there is no change in the behavior or characteristics of the circuit elements, if the current through or voltage across element is reversed. So in this case actually the current is, suppose if the current is reversed, then automatically the behavior changes. Okay, here even if you reverse the voltage or current direction, then also there is no change in the behavior. Okay, so irrespective of the direction of current or polarities of the supply of the voltage, even then also there is no change in the behavior or characteristics of the circuit elements in the network. So such a network is called bilateral network. So it is a unidirectional behavior. This is double direction. Okay, that means both the direction it is showing the same characteristics. That is why it is called bilateral network. Clear? So like that you can just classify any given network into two types. Now, so we can reduce the given network in three different manner. So whenever you have a network, you can show that network in the form of a block diagram, right? So that you can just see the input and output. That's it. So what do you mean by that input and output? So input is maybe like a supply voltage, okay, or supply current to the network, okay, and finally after certain characteristics, after certain behavior, okay, variations or voltage or current, whatever it is, so finally you will get certain output. So again that output may be some voltage or current, and sometimes frequency also, input frequency, output frequency. Okay, in case of oscillators, AC sources, etc., you will come across the variation of the frequency, right? So such circuits can be simply understood by considering in three block diagrams here. Okay, look at these diagrams. So network reduction, the first way of reducing the given network is by considering a block diagram. Suppose if it is connected in such a way that both input and output are given at only one side. Okay, so always for any network there should be minimum two terminals should be there, not only one terminal, there should be minimum two terminals. Okay, now A and B are considered as the two terminals for one port network. Okay, so this is the block diagram for one port network. Okay, so A and B acts as inputs here. What about the output? So sometimes we take the output also measured across the same terminals. Okay, so A and B acts as either input or output in case of one port network, or it is called single port network also. Clear? Then second one is two port, four terminals. Here how many terminals? Only two terminals, one port, two terminals. So here two ports, four terminals. That means separately we have the two terminals for inputs. A and B are inputs here. Okay, whereas we are measuring the output from the other two terminals. They are called C and D. Okay, C and D acts as output terminals. So totally how many terminals are there here? A, B, C and D. So that is why it is called two port, four terminal network. Clear? Then the third way of considering the network is two port, three terminal. Okay, so what do you mean by that? So in case of input and output, one terminal is common to both input and output. Okay, so for example, if we consider the terminal A is the input terminal, so B is acting as input terminal again. So that means A and B are input terminals, right? So whereas C and D are output terminals. Okay, but this B and D are not separate. Okay, so they are interconnected. Okay, so that means from the given network you are considering the same terminal as both input and output, B and D. So one common terminal between input and output. That is why totally how many terminals you have to say? Only 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so this is a common terminal here. That is why it is called two port, three terminal network. Clear? So now after this introduction part, let us see what are the theorems we will come across, how to simplify the theorems, etc. Okay, so just I will list out the number of theorems. Okay, now look at the theorems. So one by one you look at the theorems. So first one is called Thevenin's theorem. Okay, the name of the theorem is called Thevenin. So it is discovered by the scientist called Thevenin. So it is called Thevenin's theorem. So similarly, the other scientist proposed the theorem called Norton's theorem. Okay, then maximum power transfer theorem based on the behavior of the network. So it is called maximum power transfer theorem. Then superposition theorem. Okay, then the last one is reciprocity theorem. Okay, so like that. So various theories, in particular these 5 theories are important for you as per your syllabus now in the DC circuit analysis. Okay, so as the chapter title itself says, DC circuit analysis. Okay, that means you are considering particularly DC circuits with a DC source. Okay, not the AC source. Okay, DC source should be there. And then how do you analyze the given DC circuit? The fundamental method of analyzing the circuit is by using the Ohm's law. Okay, then you will come across Kirchhoff's laws. So what are the two Kirchhoff's laws? we have Kirchhoff's voltage law and Kirchhoff's current law, correct? So using these three laws, of course we can solve the given circuit. Solving the given circuit in the sense what? So we may have to find the output of a circuit, okay, based on the different connected resistor values in the network, okay, across a given source, okay. And it is very easy to analyze if there is only one source, okay, and if there is a simple loops like series loops and connected in the parallel resistors loops, etc., okay. So sometimes we may have to apply the KVL and KCL also, okay. So that is very fundamental method, but sometimes if the circuit is little more complicated with more number of resistors, more number of sources in the circuit, then it is very difficult to solve the given network using these three laws. Why? Because it is time consuming, time consuming. It takes lot of time. So we have to calculate separately what is the effective resistance in the circuit, and then finally the current through various branches, okay. By applying the Ohm's law, Kirchhoff's law, current law, etc., we need to calculate step by step, and finally we will come across the final solution, okay. So it is finally what we can say, you can solve, but it is time consuming, okay. Then how to reduce the time and how to solve the given complicated network immediately or within a very short interval of time, okay. So in that way, so lot of work is done on the networks, DC circuits, okay. Then finally they concluded how to simplify the given network, okay. So there are various methods. So based on that methods only we are going to discuss these theorems here, okay. The first one is Thevenin's theorem, I said. For example, in case of Thevenin's theorem, just we can reduce all the circuits into a simple circuit consisting of one voltage source and only one resistor, even though if there are more than 2, 10, 20, 100 resistors, let us say, in the circuit, you can just take the effective resistance of all those resistors and make it as a single resistor called effective resistance and connect it in the series with the source, okay. And then you calculate the output. So output will be same as the complicated network in that way, okay. Just as an example I am telling you, okay. So that is the way of simplifying the given network, okay, according to these various theories. Clear? So just note down all these points in the video, and from the next video I will explain you what are the different steps to be followed in each theorem to simplify the given network, okay. I will start with the first theorem, that is called Thevenin's theorem, in the next video, okay. So see you in the next video then.